another episode of my channel. So today's video is all about my experience on what happened to me on Saturday. Today's on Wednesday. So the last video that I filmed was on me braiding my hair, and I feel like I achieved my goal. And at that time, that particular Wednesday, I knew that I was supposed to go on a road trip to Unported National Park, and so I was super excited, and I couldn't wait for that day to get there or to reach, because first of all, it was my first time going to Unported National Park, and two, it's because you know, I feel like my content on YouTube is almost predictable, because most of the time I'm always talking about hair or makeup or just my life in general, and I felt like I wanted to, you know, get into something something new, a different kind of niche, and hopefully you guys would love. And so I was super excited. And just so you know, if you're wondering why I'm explaining this whole thing, it's because I feel like I didn't get enough content for me to be able to film and upload it. So explaining it and putting bits and pieces of what I was able to film that day would kind of make sense, okay? Saturday Lifika, we were supposed to meet in town so that, you know, we go there as a group, because in total we had 4 tour vans that were taking us there, because we were a group of people. But for me, I didn't know anyone there, but I didn't mind as well, because I'm trying to get into that space where I can do things by myself without having friends or family members with me, and also being okay with socializing and meeting new people. It's not my favorite thing to do, let me be honest, but I was trying to get myself out of my comfort zone. So just so you know, I went to Unported National Park with people I didn't know. We started the trip, but my intention was I wouldn't start recording anything or filming anything until we get there, okay? And I believe from Nairobi to Unported National Park, it's almost maybe 4 hours. So I just filmed like B-rolls, okay? So B-rolls basically means just, you know, maybe how the road looks like, or what you're seeing on the road as you get there, but barely talking or saying anything, okay? So that's basically what happened. So after 4 hours, we finally get to Unported National Park, and I believe the road that you used going to Unported National Park from Nairobi is the one that you used going to Mombasa. So we got off the main road, and remember, from Nairobi to that place is just tarmac road. But when you branch off going to Unported National Park, the road is Maram. Okay, so vumbi mingi, mamawe, and so we start going. So I was excited that finally we are here, finally I can do this. We start going. It's actually a long distance from the main road to the gate to Unported National Park. So nikaanza kusinzia at some point. At some point I wake up again, because I felt like I've been on the road for way too long and I'm not used to it, so sometimes nilikuwa nalala. So it got to a point where I remember we saw, you know, the thing is, before you get to Unported National Park, remember, the part from the main road to the gate, there are people who live around there, like Maasais who live there. And it's so funny how also you can get some wild animals there which are not exactly harmful. Like you can get some giraffes, some zebras, I guess it's impalas or something. And they are kind of used to living with those wild animals over there. You won't get something like an elephant or a lion, but, you know, herbivorous wild animals, if that makes sense. We got to a point where I saw 2 giraffes, and I was so excited, so I told the rest, you know, hi, who on any giraffe? So I remember pointing, it was on this side, this is my right side. So I was sitting on the right side behind the driver, and I remember seeing the giraffes, and I was telling people, hi, on any giraffes? So as I'm busy pointing, I'm noticing that the speed is increasing, and for some weird reason, it's like the driver had lost control and the van started swerving. So I was wondering, kind of what's going on. And so far, it's so funny how everyone was quiet, no one was talking, but we could tell, all of us could tell that there was something wrong. So even before we could start focusing on the giraffe, the van started swerving. The next thing, we were down on the ground. It was crazy. Like, I can remember everything, but it happened so fast, I didn't even get time to react to it, okay? So remember, the van fell on the side of the driver and was behind the driver. So to me, it felt like I was sitting, it's like sitting on a chair and having maybe a rope or a strap or a seatbelt on it, and then you just fall without having any kind of control. So you can't really support yourself onto the ground basically that's how it felt like it. And then immediately we landed onto the ground. Remember, this is a tour van, so up here we had that aka opening. So when we fell, someone kicked it, or it opened by itself, I can't remember, but immediately we landed on the ground. I got out and just, you know, I really just wanted to get out. Okay, I wasn't thinking anything. I felt like I had a brain freeze. But the only thing my body could do was just get out and go far away from that van, because I was fearing ingelipuka, okay, like it would explode. Okay, it happened too fast, but I couldn't even believe that I was in that van. But then the only thing I noticed after getting out was that I started feeling like I was wet at the back side of my waist. Okay, so I was feeling some kind of wetness, and okay, so what's up? My mind wasn't settled, so I wasn't necessarily focusing on myself. I was just still trying to understand what had just happened. Kume, this whole time I was bleeding. A lot of blood, but it wasn't a deep kind of cut. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys. It was... So the whole time, I knew, after I noticed I was bleeding, I didn't even think of, oh, I need some first aid. In my head, I was just thinking, Gayani, has this whole thing happened? And then I went back to the van to look for my phone. I know it wasn't the best decision, but to be honest, the first thing I thought about was not even the first aid and that the fact that I was bleeding. I went back to the van to look for my phone. That was the first thing that came into my mind. So I remember later, just a few minutes later, a van came from our group, and then the driver told our driver now to switch off the engine. And let me just tell you something. After I got out of the van, I remember looking at the driver. I tried calling him and, you know, like tapping on to him to, you know, to ensure that he was okay. But he wasn't moving for like, what, 2 minutes or 3? He wasn't moving, and I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, he'd better not have died or something. But he did. I feel like he fainted for like 3 or 4 minutes. But then later on, he woke up. Plus, we got another van, which took us to the hospital inside the national park, because going back to Nairobi was just not possible. And some of us, at least for me, at the time, that's the only thing I noticed about myself, that the fact that I had cuts and I was bleeding. Others had swellings on their hands. We thought it was a fracture or something, but basically we went to the hospital inside the national park. We got a doctor, you know, we were checked, and it was, none of us had any kind of serious injuries. And so I'm so grateful. It's, to me, like, even up until now, I feel like it's ridiculous that it happened, and the fact that God saved us and none of us died, or, you know, and basically we were okay. Yeah, so I'll just put footage, the little footage that I was able to film at that time in this video, so that you guys can see. And yeah, mkubwa hivi. Yes, unaona.